Hello, Matt Thompson with you here on AFL.com.au. We're at Visy Park where Brock McLean has been in some hot water today following a contentious series of tweets. Let's have a look at the conversation, and you can see on the screen there how it unfolded, in particular Brock's response when a supporter of another club, we believe, had a go at him. He then hit back in what I guess you could only describe as an unsavoury manner. The club's leadership group talking to Brock about this. Let's have a listen to some of the reaction from around the Blues today.
Oh, obviously Brock was disappointed. That's why he removed it straight away. He realised it wasn't appropriate, but certainly it's disappointing that he got the response that he got as well. So it works both ways. I mean, most of them use Twitter as a means of social engagement and keep the public aware of what's happening at the club and things like that. So and it's encouraged by the club, but they just got to do it in the right manner.
So the message is ignore those type of tweets? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I know it's difficult sometimes, but certainly that's a message.
Will there be a further sanction for Brock?
Oh, we haven't discussed that yet, but that's something that we'll discuss over the next day or so.
A little bit surprised. I think Brock would probably want to take it back, but damage is done now, so the club will make a statement later on, no doubt.
Will the leadership group speak to him?
Yeah, we'll speak to him probably tomorrow.
Now to Adelaide, where Brenton Sanderson says he will resist the temptation to swing the selection axe after the side's dismal performance against North Melbourne, but he has admitted he didn't recognise some of the players that took part in the 32-point loss.
There was some imposters out there, there was some players with the jumpers on and the same numbers, but it just didn't seem to be us. So we've addressed that. Players have got some good feedback from coaching staff and also to their teammates, and I'm sure we'll see a much better Adelaide Crows outfit this weekend. You have to be upset with the way we played last week, but at the same time you can't just throw it all out and say we're now a bad team, because we think we're a good side.
But in better news, the coach expects power forward Kurt Tippett to recover from a heavy knock in time to face Richmond.
We'll leave him right up to the last minute almost to make a decision on him, but he seems to be fine. He's confident he'll play, so normally when the player's confident, that's a good sign.
Richmond coach Damien Hardwick has grabbed a whistle umpiring in the Bashar Hooli Cup for Islamic school kids in the lead-up to the AFL's multicultural round. The Tigers' mentor making amends after a verbal spray at an emergency umpire earlier in the year.
Oh, look, it's a bit of both, really. It's one to support Bashar in this initiative, and the other one is, like, as I said, I was a goose that day, and it's certainly good. My young fella umpires basketball and umpires footy, so it's certainly good to get on the other foot at stages, and I'll be certainly sending off a few blokes, so I'll give a bit of back chat today.
I mentioned it to him yesterday. I said, mate, have you prepared for the new rules? And he goes, what rules? I said, mate, we're playing the AFL 9s rules. And it's like, what the hell is that?
The former Bomber has signed a new 2-year deal at the Tigers.
We've gone through a tough time early on in my season, but to be involved in a successful team for the next 2 years is very rewarding, and we're going to come a long way with such a young group.
And after revelations Hardwick had approached Olympic basketballer Joe Ingles to switch codes, he's admitted the Boomers star wasn't the only one.
Well, look, there's certainly other athletes out there that we think would be at home at our game, and Joe was just one of those, but it didn't get past a couple of phone calls and the thought of a kick and a catch, but I think Joe ended up going overseas, so it didn't eventuate.
Who else have you called then?
No, Michael Jordan, but apparently he's been retired too long, so.
At Geelong, Chris Scott has put the heat on his senior players to sort out the slow starts that have plagued the Cats this season. Scott disappointed the reigning premiers allowed Sydney to boot 7 first-quarter goals in Friday night's 6-point loss.
The opposition were very good early, so we don't discount that. But there are a few things that we think we can do in terms of the way we set up that will help a bit. But really, without absolving the coaches of responsibility, we've said to our senior players, this is an issue and we need to fix it.
And if the senior players don't set the tone, Scott says he's got plenty of talent ready to make the jump from the VFL.
Amongst a group of other players, George Holland-Smith has been outstanding for a number of weeks after making his debut. Jordan Murdoch was very good first game back after a finger injury. Lincoln McCarthy's been really good. Simon Hogan was terrific on the weekend. Oren Stevenson was good in the ruck. We actually think of, particularly with our young guys, we've got a lot of options, and Shannon's someone who's a little bit older but can't be doing much more at the lower levels to force his case, which is a good sign.
North Melbourne captain Andrew Swallow has spoken exclusively to AFL.com.au about the ups and downs of his first year leading the Kangaroos.
It's been a bit of a challenge along the way. I think early on in the season when the results are going your way, it's not a bad job, but yeah, you start to realise when things aren't going hard, that's or on field when they're not going well, that's when you need to be at your best and when you need to be leading the boys your best.
Andrew Swallow there talking to our own Nick Bowen, and you can see Nick's full interview here online. That is our report from here at Visy Park on this Wednesday. For more footy news as it breaks, make sure you click back soon.